guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled Can't You See? Some background and setup. So I work at a mid-sized international airport. Not TSA for those that want to complain. Like at most airports, we have Uber and Lyft, and rideshare services. With a designated pickup location that is directly below baggage claim. This has been the spot since before the pandemic as it took out the confusion and hassle of dealing with Uber people. There are about 40 signs in total that indicate, direct and point passengers to where they need to go for rideshare location in each of the baggage claim areas. Not only that, the app for them direct them where to go as well with instructions, and there are other signs throughout the airport. I was working along with a supervisor directing traffic outside when an older man approached us to ask us where Uber picks up. Even with signs everywhere, people often don't read, pay attention to their surroundings. We start directing the man to go inside down the escalator and to the pickup spot when she roars in. While her name is Debbie, we will know her as Karen for the story. Karen is the wife of the gentleman who asked us the location and was speaking with. Note he was very polite and kind to us during the whole encounter and is blessed with much calmness since being married to Karen. The pickup spot is here, I told you. They will pick us up from here, Karen yells out. I address Karen and point out. No, this is not that Uber and Lyft pick up downstairs. If they come up here they get in trouble. Arguing with me as if I don't know what I am talking about, she replies. No, they pick up here, I know where the pickup is. As it is a hot sweltering day of around 100 degrees, I am already in a mood, and this one wants to debate where things are. In my most condescending but polite and professional manner. No, they do not. There are signs to direct you downstairs where the pickup is located. Smuggle, there are no signs saying this. I look, this is when the light bulb goes off. Laying the bait and trap, I ask. Yes, there are. Would you like me to show you the signs? Yes, I would, she says with a crap-eating grin, thinking I would not waste my time or be able to correct her as she must be right since she Karen. Absolutely, I will right this way, I say and begin walking to the door. I hold the door open and prepare myself to be the best tour guide of signage on the face of the planet. After coming in, I directly point out the sign right inside the door saying rideshare with the Uber and Lyft logos and the words downstairs on a poster directly near the door we just entered. I then walk over to one of the 3 carousels and point out the 6 signs on and around the carousels. I don't see them. What are you talking about? Karen strikes back to discourage me from speaking. But miss, they're right here. The black Uber logo and the pink Lyft are very large and able to be seen clearly. I point them out as if displaying an item on the Price is Right. Before moving on to the large 4-foot wide 5-foot tall sign on the elevator that shows the same logos and in very large font rideshare downstairs in bold text. I stand next to this one and point it out. She leans in as if she can barely see them. Well, there is just too much noise going on in here, she says as the grin turns to a grimace. I am still unsure as to how noise affects eyesight and reading ability. But Karen, most of the signs in the whole baggage claim are pointing you to locations of interest such as the pickup location of Uber and Lyft, I say with mock shock. I continue to point out sign after sign around baggage claim, before Karen states, there are none at eye level. This is where the best part of my whole week happened, as if Christmas came early and the spotlight leveled on me. She says this standing in front of a poster sign that is directly in the same height as Karen. I take the top of the sign and rock it back and forth, making it clank and shake. Karen, this is eye level, I say with the biggest smile on my face, you only need to look. Karen has been backed into a corner and I had her on the ropes. Well, there are none. Before I saw none on my way into baggage. Like a wounded animal attacking with the last bit of energy before the end comes. I can show you the ones further in the airport as you walked here if you want. This is where her husband, the kind old man, speaks up. Let's go, Karen, at which point I learned her true name. The old man had a smirk on his face as Karen slowly walked into the elevator with her husband and my supervisor. I was told later on by that same supervisor that as they exited the elevator, which also has signage inside for Uber, that as they exited he continued to point out the signs that were downstairs all the way to the curb where they were able to get on their way. The next story is titled I Am Allowed on the Property, You Are Not. This happened just this last week, and is the only time that I have ever had the police called on me. So my parents live in an absolutely amazing house with a large amount of lakefront. The neighbors' homes are not nearly as nice, but in general, it is a very wealthy neighborhood. My brother lives with my parents, and they all drive nice new vehicles. My mom drives a Porsche Cayenne, my dad has a Subaru Ascent, and my brother has a Toyota Tacoma and a BMW M3. I drive a 2001 Honda Civic which has several dents and scratches. It looks incredibly out of place in the neighborhood, and especially so at my parents' place. So I stopped by in the middle of the day to grab some stuff from my parents' place. We are in the process of selling our home and are storing a bunch of stuff in their garage. So I was rummaging around in the garage looking through the bins until I found what I was looking for, my GameCube controller and USB adapter, and I loaded up my car and got ready to leave. When I looked out, I saw that the gate was completely blocked by a truck and a car that I did not recognize. So I hopped back out of the car and approached, and I was told by the older woman and the younger man that the cops had been called. I asked why and was told that I was caught in the act of burglary. I tried to explain that this was my parents' place and that I was just grabbing some of my stuff, but they said that they have seen my parents' kid and know what he drives. So I went back to my car and called my dad and told him that I needed him to come to his place because his neighbors think I was breaking in. So he was on his way. Took maybe 15 minutes for the cops to show up, and they beat my dad by a couple of minutes. I had no issues explaining what was going on, and they were definitely on my side. My dad showing up cleared the rest of it up. The cops said that I could press charges for false imprisonment, and asked my dad if he wanted to press charges for trespassing, but we chose not to because of the headaches that would clearly cause for my parents. They had already had several run-ins with these neighbors with them using equipment without permission, which is why they had been told not to return to the property by police in the past. The next story is titled Nursery Confusion. So I had this minor I do work here encounter. I'm 13, but I look younger. I was helping out at my dad's nursery, plant shop thing, when some lady walked up to me and asked if I could go wait in the car so that more people could come in. This was when I was 12, but the best time was a couple of weeks ago where I was helping out, and this guy asked about my age while I was helping him, and he thought I was in high school. When I told him that I was 13, he kinda gave me a strange look before walking away. This has happened multiple times, and I've only worked there about 5 times. The next story is titled No Volume of Yelling Will Fix It. I worked as a department manager in home electronics while I was going to college. I went on to get an engineering master's degree. I mention this because I am female and have worked in fields where people tend to expect to encounter males, especially in positions of authority. A guy was looking for an adapter for a device he was purchasing. For some reason our buyers didn't stock this particular adapter. But I had the exact same device at my house and had been through the challenge of finding the very same adapter this dude needed. He brought a different adapter to the counter along with the device and I mentioned the adapter wasn't compatible. He said I didn't know what I was talking about. I tried to explain I had the same device and had found the adapter at a different retailer up the street. But he interrupted and started yelling, calling me little girl, and demanded to see the manager. He said, and I do mean man because I want to talk to the guy in charge. All this over a simple $5 adapter. I stayed calm because I had been yelled at many times by unruly customers. I found it was best to let them vent and not react. I said, I am the manager, and he went completely berserk at that, screaming with so much rage he looked like every blood vessel in his neck was going to rupture. He yelled that I was lying and called me every insulting female term in the book. A male employee was making his way toward the commotion at this point, and when the customer saw him he yelled, "You need to stop hiring stupid bit at it. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She said this adapter won't work for this device." The employee who approached was on my team and was trained by me. He said, "Sir, this is our manager. She's very knowledgeable. If she says it's not compatible then it's not compatible." I had to strongly school my expression to not smirk or laugh at that point. The dude had been relatively calm talking to my team member and instantly flipped back to full-on volcano when he turned to me. I simply let him yell and rung up his items. He yelled for another 20 seconds or so before realizing I was waiting for him to pay. By this point about 10 employees were standing there. He called me several more foul names as I gave him his receipt and pointed to the return policy, just in case it didn't work out for him. 45 minutes later a woman came in with the adapter, receipt, and ripped up packaging. She said she needed to return the item. She had a very sheepish expression. I said I needed to try to fix the packaging because the return policy, as explained on the receipt, required the packaging be intact. She said, "I'm sorry. My husband bought this and I am guessing you dealt with him. I apologize for how he treated you." She was very soft-spoken and all I could imagine was how this dude probably treated her. I had a lot of sympathy for her and appreciated her courage to apologize. I said I would fix the packaging and I offered to call the other store that did sell the adapter to see if they had it in stock. She thanked me about 20 times after I called and had them put one on hold for her. She left with a smile and picked up the adapter. I saw that couple every now and then after that. The man would never come to the counter. He would just sneer at me from 10 feet away while I helped his wife, or take his wife by the elbow to someone else to be rung up. The moral of the story as far as I see it. Even if a customer is correct about something, yelling never fixes the problem. It's just as easy to speak politely and firmly to ask for what you want. Why is that so hard for so many people? I imagine jerks like this dude had parents who would give them anything they wanted to stop their 2-year-old tantrums and they just never outgrew it. And the rest of the world pays the price. There are too many babies going around in adult-sized bodies. The next story is titled A Quick Tale from the Other Side. This just happened. I was in a favorite big box destination hardware store, and was wandering around a bit after getting what I stopped for. I spotted an old guy in an electric wheelchair messing with stuff on an aisle, and the rack went much higher than je would ever be able to reach. I have a partial foot amputation myself, plus the wife spent a lot of in a scooter pf her own. This makes me sensitive to people needing assistance. I walked up and said, "If you need a reach, I'm willing to help you out." "Oh, I'm okay. Just doing inventory." That was the moment I noticed his shirt said, "Rural King." Doh. We chatted a minute, and went about our respective business. My un-Karen moment for today. The next story is titled I'm the Boss, Only I'm Not. I'm not sure if this fits, but I thought it was funny enough to share. I have been working at this company for a little under a year now, on second shift. With the late hours, I have had the chance to meet many of the janitorial staff, especially with my job having me run through every inch of the facility. Now, when I'm at work, I'm in work mode and will not speak unless it is a polite greeting or work-related material. Despite being low on the ladder, I take my work very seriously and dress like I'm about to close a major deal. To the point, that the janitorial staff are convinced I'm the boss. There is no dissuading them otherwise. If they have not seen me in a while, they will ask my coworkers, "Where's the boss lady?" This is typically met with confusion as the actual boss is a man and works first shift. Once it becomes clear that it's me they are inquiring about, my coworkers try to set them straight, but I'm starting to suspect it is janitorial staff's inside joke at this point. The next story is titled Outside Food, Beverages. Many years ago, I was a young and inexperienced manager at a thriving coffee shop. This place was awesome. Hundreds of teas, a coffee roaster in the building, live music, and beautiful rugs with big, comfy couches. It was a Gen X paradise, and I had worked hard for my position. I was at the cash register, and a customer came in with 2 cups of coffee from a local Starbucks. Ours was so much better. Since my owner was there, I was obligated to ask her politely not to bring in outside food, beverages. So, I did, and of course Karen demanded to speak to the manager. With hidden delight, I told her I was the manager and that it was a standard policy in the world. I reminded her that we had a sign on the door stating that policy, right beside the one that claimed our right to refuse service. She demanded to speak to the owner. Owner told her the same thing and thanked me in front of her for upholding policies, etc. We all know how soul-sucking retail is, so it was very vindicating. Now I'm a male ma'am and I'm not obligated to put up with people's bullcrap. The end. The next story is titled Crazy Lady Decided to Bug Me, a Locksmith, and literally called the police because I wasn't supposed to be here. I was. Earlier today I had one of my biggest jobs yet. Rekeying 19 locks all to be alike. Normally for the bigger jobs, my boss would help, but he isn't exactly the most organized and keeps losing his bidding tweezers, so I was on my own. They were all to some side rooms holding only some thick piping. Sign above them said something along the lines of fire room or something, but that wasn't my problem. Somewhere around lock 14, I heard the signature Karen ahem. Me, having made a parking mistake pointed out by a kind lady earlier and expecting something similar, turned around and said, "Is everything alright?" I should have known where this was going. Karen. What are you doing here? Me. I'm rekeying these locks, still naively thinking this was just another interested stranger. Karen. You aren't allowed to do that, that's illegal. I read enough on Reddit to start recording at this point. Sadly, I don't have it anymore. My phone data filled up. I was surprised that Karen said nothing about me beginning to film. Maybe she thought I was sending boss a message or something. Me. Ma'am, this is my job. The owner of this complex ordered me to do this. Please leave me alone. Karen. No, I live here and you aren't allowed to do this. Don't make me call the police. Do you even have a license to do this? Spoiler alert. No license is needed per se, but there is some sort certificate for identification, so I can't just copy the key and come back or something. Me. I have a license, back off and let me do my job. You are a tenant, not an owner. I know this because I was ordered to do this by the owner himself. Besides, these are side rooms to some sort of fire control area. You don't even have access here and yet I do. Is that not proof enough? Karen. Show me your license or I'm calling the police. Me. Call them then. I have no obligation to show you verification number. You aren't my client. Getting irritated by the humid heat, now bug off. Karen. I'm calling the police. The U will make sure you never do this again. Me. Absolutely pissed at this point, duck off lady. I am doing my job so leave me alone. AMD waste someone else's time and energy. Karen. I'm the owner's wife, you aren't allowed to do this. I'm calling the police. Me. Calming down. No you are not. The owner doesn't live around here and is single. Try again lady. I know I have mild anger issues and have been trying to control it, but this lady just pissed me off in 90 degrees heat. Genetically related back pains and being hunched over for 14 locks working on the ground didn't help much either. Sure enough, she called the police. 2 locks later, they arrived. They asked if I was supposed to be here. I said yes, showed the texts between me, my boss and the real owner, got them on call to confirm and showed the police my number and the video. It was not very interesting from there. They basically told the lady not to waste police time ever again, that this wasn't her business and I wasn't in the wrong. They ordered her to desist and let me know everything was good and to continue as normal. I got the job done well. This incident was shown to the landlord. If it was up to me, I would change one pin on her door to the next size up. It wouldn't make her key not work, just make it harder to turn. Sadly, the landlord just laughed and said I couldn't do that. Let me add this as a side note, you people who need to deal with Karens regularly have a newfound respect from me. The next story is titled Woman Corrects Husband About Me Not Working at My Work. I work at a theme park, where one of the roller coasters has a uniform that people often cosplay, including myself. My cosplay consists of a shirt with a 3D plastic version of the ride logo on, a crazy smiley face. That's current merch. Yellow shorts with yellow suspenders with black and white striped knee-high socks and elbow-length black and white striped gloves. Just like the workers. And I wear black Doc Martens with yellow laces just like them but double the height, complete with black and yellow ribbons in my hair and a hat. Workers have hats too, but mine is a merch one. Anyways, a few weeks ago I decided to go to the theme park on a day off, complete in cosplay and had my usual bag with the ride's logo all over it. I had just been on the ride when a man and a woman, who I literally had just been on the same row with, came up behind me. The man said, "Excuse me, do you know where?" before his wife cut him off with, "She doesn't work here." To which I turned around and said, "Actually that's where you're wrong. I actually do work here. Off duty, states my ride names, at your service. What can I help with?" They ended up chuckling at my silliness and the pure coincidence. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some